We've got a couple things going on today. Let's see, today's October 15th. There's a lot of music happening because a minute ago I asked Chris, I was like, hey babe, can you turn the Bluetooth off on the iPad so I can put my music on? He was like, oh, for sure, and then blasts this music that kills plants. We're gonna change that though because I have my own nice, fun music that's happening.
My weight here. I'm usually trying to.
So we're at Six Blades La Quinta. So I kind of train between my schools, which are my Gracie Boss schools in Riverside, Corona, Redlands, and Newport Beach. So we've got 4. And then I also train here at Six Blades La Quinta with Chris Hargetch. So if you ever see any awards in this video, none of them belong to me.
We'll do a little bit of everything. It's kind of close to the tournament, so we'll kind of keep it fun and do some longer rounds, maybe work some standing top-bottom positions, but mostly have fun.
Today's a fun day. Today my goal is just to beat everybody up, you know? Some days we come in and we're like, all right, what do we need to work on? We're gonna do these little adjustments, and then I leave just mostly frustrated and annoyed because I'm like, man, I'm really tired of having to actually get better. And then some days we come in and I just get to fuck with people. And that's really all I ever want to do. Wait, what are you doing? I'm just going through the 3 things we did with Steve.
Try to look for the back.
For this title defense, I'm fighting Leticia Cardozo, and I've never fought Leticia before. We both, I feel, have been in like similar titles. She's a no-gi world champion, I'm a no-gi world champion, but I was kind of rising into some of those titles and then moved away from some of those titles as I got hurt or had different things that I was prioritizing, like ADCC, and then she kind of took over some of them. So it's a little bit of an interesting storyline where it's like I was winning these things and then left them, and then she came in and won them, and then now we are going to be meeting for the first time. So we've never been in the same bracket, we've never been in the same tournament together or in the same like super fight arena like this, so I'm super stoked. It was a really interesting experience because even when I was at Polaris, which most people don't really know, but when I was at Polaris last time, which was in March of 2022, I had really developed a big back injury. So I had a fracture in my L3, and then from L3 to S1, everything was severely herniated. It was really, really extreme. So literally on the way to Polaris, like on the plane, I didn't know if I was gonna fight. For me to pull out of something, I'd never pulled out of a fight before. So I got to Polaris, had this fight. I feel like I was broken the entire time, but I got through it. And then we got home, and then I had about a week and a half, maybe 10 days until the trials, so West Coast trials in 2022 in April. So I get to trials, and the long story short of that is that I ended up pulling out on the second day. And I'd never pulled out of an event before, but I couldn't walk. I got out of bed the second morning of ADCC thinking I was about to go into day 2, and I fell out of, I got up to stand up out of bed and I just fell down. I was frozen, and I felt paralyzed. So it was horrible. And then basically the entire summer of last year in 2022 was me trying to get my body healthy enough to allow myself to train so that I could compete well at ADCC in September of last year, 2022. So all summer it was back and forth, as far as like on the mats, off the mats, on the mats, off the mats. And realistically, I probably trained for like a total of almost like 2.5 good weeks of training. Even then, it wasn't long rounds, it wasn't a lot of wrestling, but it was like enough of intense training to get me that feeling like I was ready to go. Was able to make it to the semifinals, go into the second day feeling amazing, and then in the semifinals, went out on a stretcher. I tore my MPFL and dislocated my patella on my left knee in a scramble on the edge of the mat. The main thing I remember about that day is I'm sitting on the stretcher about to leave and get loaded onto with the paramedics. And that was the moment that Amy Campo was beating Gabby Garcia. And the crowd was so electric. It was crazy. And I'm sitting there like, this was my dream. And it's gone. It's gone. And I had beat Amy Campo at the ADCC trials, and so I was just like, it felt so close. Everything felt so close. And I think especially because the big injury and doing the whole fighting back and having my own little hero's journey with that, like making it back in and getting it done, and then again being cut down, right? It was like, fuck, man, I really thought that I did enough to make this happen, and it just didn't happen. Now, when we started this fight camp for Polaris, I remember talking to my coaches, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna call this a camp. This is not a camp, this is an experiment. let's see if I even fucking like this anymore. You know, like there's something really freeing about that. Like I don't need the paycheck. I don't need the relevance. I don't need the importance. I'm doing this purely because I love it. And if I start this and it's not, and I don't love it and it's not fun, I'm calling Polaris and I'm telling him it's over. I'm only gonna do this as exciting, and I don't wanna get emotionally attached to it until I know how I feel. And then we did this 2-week experiment to see if I liked being in a camp again. And dude, I was in so much love. I was like, fuck, I forgot how much I loved this. This is so fun. Like, I was made for this. I was made for the striving, made for the fun, made for the tough parts, the days that you cry, the days that you don't want to do it, and then doing it anyway, and then feeling so proud of yourself, you know? So anyway, coming into this event, it's been over a year since I've been on the mats. It'll be November 4th when we're fighting. And what I'm bringing to the table this time that I've never brought before is a new level of freedom, a new level of love. And there's something that changed in me when I had to continue to pull the fire back out when I didn't really know if it was there or not, because it felt like it kept getting like dirt thrown on it to put the fire, and like I had to keep bringing it back out. Whereas before, for my entire life, the fire was just always there, like I've always had it. But with this getting put out and then me having to restart it over and over, it's like the amount of proof I have with myself that this is exactly where I want to be. I'm so free when I get to go do my work. Like, of course, I care if I win as far as like I want to have that outcome, but being process and love based rather than outcome based is when I do my best work. So I think that's what we're going to see in November.
Good job. We have been working a lot on the snap down and the takedowns, and today this week actually we focus more on the single leg stuff. I'm really excited, to be honest, especially because it's a big challenge for me, and I think my life works better when I have a challenge coming up, and that's the case right now. It's my first time, and I get so happy when they call me. I remember it was 7 a.m. in the morning here, and then I check my phone when I wake up, and there was the message. So since that, I have been waiting, and it's coming finally. So fighting against Kendall is gonna be great for me because she's bigger and taller. So I think it's gonna be great, I hope, because I think I can use my speed and my strength too. So we never fought before, so I think it's gonna be great, especially because it's gonna be in Polaris tournament, just one fight happening there. So I hope it's gonna be amazing. So for no gi, my game is a little bit more aggressive than gi. I think gi is still holding too much than going for submission, and no gi I like to go, you know. So two things I think I need to keep in my mind. I always keep in my mind on no gi. I have to be happy to fight, and then I need to get a good cardio to have a good cardio, because when I start the fight, I'm always training happy, no gi, because for me it's for fun. You know, it's less pressure than gi, so I think that's a great point for me. I don't have too much pressure fighting no gi, so I just go. So I have been coming to Del Mar Jiu-Jitsu for two, 3 years. I'm always here training and teaching, and I split my day being Alliance in the morning and Del Mar Jiu-Jitsu since 4, so half day in Alliance and half day here in Del Mar Jiu-Jitsu, and have been helping a lot because I love to train with the guys here. They felt like so welcome with me, you know, and always a great class, a great training. And I started to teach for the no-gi class, not too long, but it's been very good. So for this camp, I know she's a wrestler, so I'm doing wrestling every day. I have been doing for a while, but I stopped a little bit afterwards, and I'm working a lot from the ground too, because if the fight's too much on top, like changing, and if she don't pull or don't take me down, I hope I'm working a lot of leg locks and stuff from bottom. So I think I have a good plan on top and on bottom for this match.